Hey guys, welcome to this week's show. With me, as always, Corey, pretty much my right-hand man in the league here. So, Travis, if Travis was watching, he would make some jokes about how we always collude together. So, he's still bitter. He's still bitter about a Giroux trade that happened like 5 seasons ago. Like, move on. Big week last week. Some interesting results. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at the standings, how they shifted. We actually did what we said we would do, and we got an update on the prediction results. So we'll talk about that after, and we'll preview this week, another big week. 3 weeks left until playoffs start. Exciting for 8 teams, maybe 9 who's trying to get in, but the other teams aren't really that excited about it. But they find reason to care with the whole Caucasaurus on the line. So let's start with last week's results here. Big matchup here. The first one we're going to talk about. Le Champion, Team Ramrod, short-handed with all his injuries, took down Suck My Ojic. Why don't you tell me about this one, Corey?
Battle of the 2 top teams here. You coming out with a big win. Your goalie stats get you more, and I didn't expect that against Neil. His goalie's got some wins, but they didn't put up the greatest stats. But his offense couldn't do it. No,
like you said, his goalies got lit earlier in the week, and he wasn't able to recuperate from it. I know the one night he was upset because he started Shesterkin and I forget who his other goalie is. Oh, Swayman.
Yeah.
And Sorokin got a shutout, so he was mad that Sorokin was on got a shutout while he's on his bench. But you know, it would have been fine, because if he would have got that shutout, I would have been forced to play Kemper on Sunday, and Kemper got a shutout on Sunday. But I had benched him, I didn't need it.
That's safe. Yeah.
It wasn't worth the risk. My goalie stats weren't great either, but they were enough to have the advantage. So I just benched Kemper. But he got a big, I think it was like a 40 save shutout, something like that, 36 save shutout on Sunday night. He followed that up with a big shutout last night. So very happy with Kemper. Big matchup. You know, Neil and I were talking throughout the week, going back and forth. You know, I told him, like, good luck. I'll see you in the playoffs. Next matchup here, Daltrey. Seems to have woken up, defeats the playoff push, pretty much ending the playoff push with that victory. So, you know, giving Derek a taste of the beef. What happened here?
I'd say it's over. He even changed his name to the playoff push is over.
He knew mathematically it was done. He had to win out pretty much. With everyone winning, right? So
yeah, no, Daltrey's players taking 9 categories to give him the 9-5 win. It's a big win. His goalies aren't bad either, so it's nice to see his offense can carry the load too.
No, yeah, I agree. Like big week for Daltrey to kind of show up. He was on the verge. He was slipping a bit. He needed that win, and really it's a great win for him because it hurts someone that's trying to catch him, right? So yeah. Ending the playoff push. Good job, Daltrey. This one, kind of surprised. I have Cherry Pickin' Daddy pulling out the tie against the whole shaft. What happened here?
Yeah, Kyle's goalies came to play, taking 4 categories. Nick taking none. Nick's players outplayed him, but tie. It's another tie for him. 2 big ones against two big teams too.
Kyle kind of staying alive. I think mathematically he's still alive. Not likely, but mathematically he's still around with that point. But I thought for sure Nick was going to take this. Bad luck on Nick's part. Obviously still having a good season, sitting in 4th. He's going to the playoffs, so he doesn't really care about that. This one, I love this matchup. Because of this upset here, get off my grass, taking down Captain Crunch here 8-6. This was great news for Team Ramrod in the standings. We'll talk about that in a bit. Why don't you tell me what happened here?
No, a big win for Dan. Captain Crunch didn't have good goalie stats, and Dan capitalized and pulled off a big upset here. We all pegged this as a pretty easy one for Domo too.
Yeah.
So it's a big win.
Dan making a little moves here. He picked someone up this week. I thought it was a good pickup. I think it was Kraus. He picked up Kraus this week. He's got Batherson, who's on the IR, but is going to come back probably for our playoffs around then. He's going to be a sneaky good player for him. Stopping his slide here. Big win for him. Kind of solidifying him in the playoffs. Domo doesn't really matter, except for bragging rights, Domo, but that's about it. Domo doesn't care. He's already clinched, right?
First team to clinch.
That's right. But not in first.
Oh.
Hockey Balboa. Hockey Balboa is sneaking out a tie against Pacioretty to Rumble. What happened here with the bye week? How does Braden have 3 ties this year?
No,
how does he have 4 wins? Like,
yeah, that's a big point to lose there for Nick. But like I was saying last week, Braden's teams have his weeks have been close. He's been really making it tight. He's had a lot of losses recently, but a lot of close ones. So it's no surprise. I'm not super surprised to see that Nick didn't get the win. It's just his team's kind of slowing down recently. It seems they can't get the pickup again to keep winning.
And that's a huge point to lose, right? As you can see, he's sitting there in 9th now because of only the 1 point in that match. You got to win those matches against Braden. Those are the bye weeks, right? But I do know he has some stuff going on in his personal life right now, so he's not necessarily focused on hockey right now. So completely understandable, Nick. So 100% understand. But he'll bounce back this week probably and be back to himself there. So yeah. 7 on the ice, taking on the never-ending rebuild, defeating him 9-5, pretty much crushing Travis's dreams of the playoffs, and jumping into a playoff spot here. What happened here?
He had a good week. At Mark, 19 goals and 35 assists. That's an offensive heavy week.
Yeah.
His players came into play and he got the win, and I think expected win against Travis Helen. So it's good on him to keep going with the playoff life here, right? Sitting in 8th.
He needed it. It
was big.
So huge win. Good for you, Mark. Maybe we'll see in the playoffs. You might line up against Team Ramrod. You might just want to drop out into 9th. Clefbaum coming up with a big win against Please Don't Feed the Goalie in the matchup that no one cared about this week. Why don't you tell me about this and what happened here?
Yeah, another Markstrom week for him. Taking all the goalie stats, and that would have been enough to tie it. So just one player stat was needed.
Markstrom's a beast.
Yeah. He's killing it. So that's a good win for him. He's been on a little bit of a losing skid, right? So, and it's unfortunate that he won, though.
To think about how much Markstrom's been traded in our league, because he was just a joke, and all of a sudden now he's the man, right? I traded him Markstrom years ago for Tyler Seguin. Everyone thought it was the worst trade ever, and I told him he's gonna be a starter one day. Well, he is, and he's on your team. Those are the old days before Le Champion came in here. This was my favorite match of the week that we're gonna talk about. Sauce Pass taking it to JC Petit 8-6 here, getting himself out of bottom of the league, out of the Caucasaurus holding here and put in JC Petit on the brink here of falling out of the playoffs. I love this. Tell me about this.
Yeah, this is a close matchup in pretty much every category all week long. It was tight. I never felt safe even going into Sunday. That's a big win though. It's a big loss for Sean too.
I love it because you were the easy match that he had, right? As we'll talk about later, he's playing Neil this week. He has Ramrod next week, and then he finishes with Daltrey. So there's a very good chance that we could see Sean on the outside this year. Well, might be time for him to rebuild.
A little late.
I mean, going for the future. His goalies are kind of, will they even be good again? I don't know. It's probably just a rough year for them, but I like to speculate that they're downhill now. Let's talk about this. Whew, this has been a while. So we'll go over last week's results, and then we'll talk a little bit about the overall here, because no one knows what's going on. I'll let you tell me here about this, Corey.
So first matchup, we have you against Neil. Only Neil picking Neil. So we had me, Dan, Kyle, and you voting for yourself. The next matchup, playoff pushes over against I'll Try the Beef. Only you went with Derek. So we had 4-1 in that one.
Thought he would ride that wave.
Yeah. Nope. And then we have Cherry Pickin' Daddy against the whole shaft. Ended with a tie. No one predicted that. Captain Crunch, get off my grass. Only Neil going with Dan here, getting the only win. Hockey Balboa and Patch Ready to Rumble. They tied as well, right? So it's 0-5. Everyone going with Seaman on the ice over the never-ending rebuild. And then only Dan going against Clefbaum on this one, against Tyler. And going 4-1, and then me against JC Petit. We have me, you, and Dan voting for me, going 3-2. So I went 5-3, but everybody else went 4-4. Neil, Kyle, you, and Dan.
Pretty even match.
But 2 ties in there.
Yeah, that hurt.
Yeah, that's always hard.
Yeah, you never predict it. You'd like if you predict one. Let's take a look at the overall here.
So I went back a little while.
Yeah.
So I win with anybody who's voted in the last 6 weeks.
That's fair.
I'll leave up here.
They want to stop participating, then fuck them.
And speaking of stop participating, JC Petit here, last week going without a vote. Unacceptable. You just couldn't handle the loss to Saucier Pass.
He's slacking.
No, but we have a week 16 here. You can see Sean going to 7-1 week. That was a big one. Last week or 2 weeks ago, I guess, week 19, Neil going with a 7-1 week. So there's been some big weeks, but we've all done pretty well, really.
Well, that big week there, 7 on the ice, 1-7.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Huge.
No, but overall, I feel like we've been predicting more right than we haven't the last few weeks at least.
Yeah.
But we have Neil leading the way with 90 right predictions. You in second with 89, and then Sean with 83. But if you look at percentages, we got Neil leading the way, 56.6%, Dan 56.3%, and you at 55.6%. So Daltrey
is the man to beat.
2 months. You're out of here.
It's been longer than 2 months.
Yeah, he's officially not voted more than he has voted.
Yeah, which is surprising that he doesn't care about defending his title.
He's not going to win the big one.
He's not. He's never going to. That's why I feel good here. And Neil's winning something. Good for you, Neil. Good for you.
His record could have been so much better if you just voted for you.
He didn't believe. He didn't believe in Ramrod. Even through all the injuries. Even with all the injuries my team had, people still picked Ramrod. And it only got worse at the start of last week. There were more injuries that piled in. Like, let's take a look at these standings here. Why don't you tell me about Division 1?
Well, we don't have a number 1 beside Domo here, Captain Crunch. It's the first time in all season.
Yeah.
All season. He
I think the
wasn't
last
first.
time was probably the first few weeks when everything was really tight.
Yeah. But no, he's leading the way still with his clinch playoff spot at 28 points. Neil right behind, even though he had the loss at 26. Dan getting some breathing room from the 8th place fight here. Not very much though. He just staying alive at 23. Nick sitting in 9th place, tied for 8th place with Mark with 21 points. Kyle's sticking around with 18 points, only 3 back there. And then Clefbaum, Tyler with 13 points. Hockey Bubble is 11, the 16th. So Division 2 does not have the lowest ranked player or team.
Not anymore.
Nope.
We have the top ranked. Before we get to that, though, I think it's really interesting that 9 through 6 is only 2 points separating them. Right? So any one of those guys could fall out, really. It's a really good playoff race. I feel like this is going to go down until the final day again. That's what I like to see. Let's talk about Division 2 here. The Champion, Team Ramrod, holding up the fort at number 1 in the league. Got to defend that championship. Second team to clinch. So it looks like 27 points is the magic number right now.
27.
So once you hit that 27, so Neil's just a point behind up there. With a win this week, whole shaft can clinch. So big week for him. You got Daltrey holding on at 24 points right now. And it's in 5th place, so a point behind Nick. This could be a first round matchup, right? Nick and Daltrey. JC Petit hanging on for his life here. It's gonna be really interesting. I think he has the hardest schedule of all the teams fighting to get in. Simonson here in 8th. So right now there are 5 teams in Division 2 sitting in the playoffs. Just saying Division 2 is where it's at. Playoff push is over. Sitting at 17 points, 4 points out. Can't get in. It's unfortunate. Yeah. I believed in the playoff push, but not anymore. Never-ending rebuild here, sitting at 16 points. Rounding out the bottom of the division here at 12 points, we got Saucier Pass. So tight playoff race. I'm excited for the last 3 weeks here. There's gonna be some big matchups. I believe there's some of these teams are playing each other over the next 3 weeks. So big matchups. You need those wins. You gotta do what you gotta do to win those.
Yeah, not officially over for Derek and Travis. I mean, maybe with matchups, it could be, but I'd be surprised. But it would be tough. You'd have to get a lot of matchups go your way. But
they're pretty much done.
Yeah, they're pretty much done.
You heard it here. You're done.
You're done.
Let's go on to this week's matchups. Some big matchups on the docket this week. Personally, for me, the biggest matchup is this first one here. Domo versus, Captain Crunch now. The number 2 ranked Captain Crunch taking on number 1 Team Ramrod. He needs a reminder. I beat him earlier in the season. I beat him in the finals last year. He just needs to be put back in his place. I am in a disadvantage, though, going into this one. He has 22 man games more than me. 22 man games. I thought I was just gonna come in here and talk some shit and I wouldn't be competing. But the difference is I woke up this morning to a shutout from Kemper and a 3-2 loss from Reimer to Florida. I thought Reimer was getting lit up last night playing Florida. I was like, fuck, this is going to be bad, but I need the starts. And no, it turned out it was really good for me. My goalie's holding the fort down for me. I think Ramrod's going to pull through. What do you think?
Yeah, even before I knew that, I would have still went with you. I like where your team's headed. You're big consistent. Like there was a big gap there for a while.
Going to the championship.
Oh, they're going to the playoffs. Will they make the finals? We'll see. We'll see. Just takes 1 week. Just takes 1 week, man. Yeah, I'll go with my vote to you though.
Yeah, thank you for the vote of confidence. 22 games down, and I'm gonna take down Domo. I hope. If I lose, I'm not upset. 22 man games is a lot to overcome, but I'm hoping some of these injuries just kind of bounce back throughout the week, and I gain a few man games, right? So,
yeah.
Whole Shaft, sitting in fourth place, taking on the playoff push is over. Who you got here?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Nick on this one. He is the playoff team.
Yeah, I agree. Like it's hard to go against a playoff team versus a guy who's not in it, right? I think Nick will take this, clinch his playoff spot, and not have to worry about the next 2 weeks. Big matchup here, 9th versus 10th. Pat, you're ready to rumble. Trying to stay in this here against Cherry Pickin' Daddy. Who you got here?
I'm gonna give it to Nick. I know he's been on a slide. Kyle's been actually tying some pretty good teams. You know, I'm gonna go with Kyle. I'm gonna go with the upset. He's gonna
literally
take
just
away.
flopped.
Yeah, I thought through it a bit more.
I'm gonna give the edge to Nick. He didn't sell, he bought. So I imagine, I like to think that he has a better roster, just based on that, right? I think he'll compete a little bit this week. I'm not saying anything bad about Kyle's team. Kyle's team's still competing after selling a little bit. Yep. Good for him. But I think Nick will come out in this week. Don't even have to ask about this next matchup. Y'all try the beef here, sitting in 5th, trying to get closer to that playoff clinch. It is Braden bye week. What do you think's going to happen here?
Hurts to say it, but I'm going to give him a vote to Daltrey. I think it's an easy decision.
That's what you want, though.
I know. Yeah, I know Braden's goalie situation is pretty bad. So even a rough week for Daltrey is probably good enough. And Daltrey's players just won him a week, so I think he's pretty safe.
I'm gonna have to agree. I just don't think Braden has it this year. I think he has his eyes set on a certain golden phallic object that he really wants custody of for a year. Keep playing the way you are, buddy. You'll get there. Yeah, Dan here. Get off my grass. Taking on Clef Bomb. What do you think here?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Dan. I know I wouldn't peg him as a really good playoff team, but I think he has the better team than Kyle still, even though he sold off. He had a lot of players that he couldn't move just because the draft, nobody wanted to move those low draft picks.
They weren't worth those picks, but they're still good players.
Yeah, like his lowest pick was like a 9th, I think. So.
Well, I kind of agree. Dan has a better team. He's a playoff team. I'm going to give him the advantage. At this point, it's just smart. Like, don't bet on Clef Bob. Although Markstrom could steal him some weeks, right? So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In a matchup that really no one cares about, Saucier Pass taking on the never-ending rebuild. I guess it has implications on our Caucasaurus here. What do you think is going to happen here?
I'm gonna go with the Saucier Pass. My team. I like my team. I don't mind my team. So.
Strong words for a guy in 15.
Beat you down, Travis. I just want to beat you down.
Life's already beat him down. I'm gonna say Travis pulls this out here. I don't know. I just want to see a more entertaining race at the bottom. So I'm gonna give Travis my vote of confidence and hope that he pulls through here. 7 on the ice versus Please Don't Feed the Goalie, a matchup no one cares about. I guess Mark cares. It's playoff impacting, but I don't know. It
I was
should
gonna
be
say that's a pretty big game or a week for him, and we know you're not safe any week.
That's
right?
true.
So like it's been clear, like last week, there's a lot of bottom teams that pulled out points. There was like a lot of underdogs actually last week that would have, if you look at the standings, who won.
That mean you taking Tyler?
I'm still going to give it to Mark.
Yeah, with that all that said, I still think Mark's going to pull this out.
Yeah.
Keep that playoff race interesting because I think all those teams are still going to win. Well, maybe there's one team I'm not so sure about. It brings us to our last matchup here. Suck My Ojit, looking to clinch his playoff spot, taking on a desperate JC Petit. What do you got here?
I'm gonna go with Neil in this. I like Neil's team. I just beat Sean, so he can't be too good, right? And I'm gonna go with Neil.
I like when a perennial playoff team just misses the playoffs out of nowhere. I love this scenario right now. And I know it's burning Sean up right now. Just anytime he'll watch this and he's gonna be mad. I'm gonna get a message. He's gonna call me some kind of like cocksucker or something. He's just gonna be aggravated. I hope he loses. I think Neil's gonna take it, and I hope I'm the one to put the nail in the coffin next week against Sean.
It's a tight race.
Tight race. I love this though. This is what it's all about, right? These close playoff races. We said it several times this year. Last year's playoff race was probably the best we ever had, and this is shaping down to be pretty close too, right? 4 teams fighting for 3 spots. But any one of those teams, if they falter, they could be out.
Yeah, with 3 weeks left, right? So it could even get tighter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If the right teams lose, right?
Yep.
We say, 3 teams, but Daltrey's only a point up on those guys.
Yeah.
Like a lot can happen. It's good for the league, for the competitiveness. I just like to see a few other teams get a little more competitive overall. Please don't feed the goalie. Braden, saucier pass. Travis.
Next, yeah.
I like to see Travis make it to a trade deadline before blowing up next year.
I sent a lot of low picks early this year. I was trying to buy it. I just couldn't get the wins. It was a bad draft, but we'll move on. Learning experience.
You want me to teach you?
No, you can't teach me shit.
Yeah, I know nothing about bad drafts and turning it around. It's an exciting playoff race. I'm excited for the playoffs. I'm just waiting to see who I'm playing. That's all. I don't care what the rest of the season. I do care about the rest of the season. Sorry. I got Sean next week. There's going to be some bragging rights on the line. Domo this week, there's some bragging rights. I finished the year against Nick. So there's going to be bragging rights there too, right? So
that's a tough schedule.
Yeah, except it doesn't matter. So
no, it does not.
Put myself into a position where my tough schedule at the end doesn't matter. So
2 spots clinched now.
Yeah. Who's the next one to clinch? Probably Neil.
Could be 3. Could be 3 this week, depending who loses too.
Could be more depending on who loses.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like right now, there's 2 who are in win point ranges from making it. But I said there could be more, 3 or 4.
If Daltrey wins and someone loses, then
exactly,
he's pretty much set, right?
Yeah.
But there's still really, if you look at it, 4, maybe 5 spots still attainable. Like what a close race, right? Big matchups this week. A lot of the teams though should have an easy week, on paper, but as we saw last week, that's not always how it happens. So I'm excited to see how this ends.
It'll be good. It'll be nice this week beating Travis and not much further ahead of Hockey Balboa.
And
I
this he
think he's
comes back.
tapped out. He's going down. He's not getting back up this year.
No, probably not.
Balboa got KO'd.
Pretty sure Neil still has a Braden bye week. So
Ooh,
easy
that's good.
points for him. Well, guys, good luck this week. Exciting playoff race, some big matches. I'll see someone in the playoffs. Corey won't.
No. I'll
But
be
that's
sitting
all
there in
the
the
fun.
draft lottery.
That's it. He wants to win the draft lottery. He wants those top end players next year. I think the draft will be interesting this year because you're gonna have someone who almost made the playoffs who has a good team might win the lottery, right?
Yeah.
It'll be great. Well, have a good week, guys. We'll be back next week and we'll talk about how more intense the playoff race is. Good luck this week, guys.
Yeah. Have a good one.